Rasmus Hojlund has now scored 15 goals for Manchester United in his debut season, a respectable amount considering the circumstances at Old Trafford. But you've also got to consider the difficulties that he's had. Rasmus has got a lot of talent, but also a lot of things to work on. However, his latest goal against Newcastle was perhaps the best example of what he can do if he listens to some of the advice that former players and just fans in general have noticed. So Andy Cole, of course a United striker known for scoring a lot of goals, was quite critical of Hojlund this week in terms of the way that he approaches playing against centre-backs. He's really physical, he's trying to almost impose his physicality on defenders, and it's not always working. So Cole said, especially watching him again on Saturday, because the game's changed so much, he has an obsession to want to fight the centre-half. You don't need to. Not in a modern game. You know, back in the day when you've got Sparky, Mark Hughes, yeah, that's totally different. Now he's got this big obsession. I've got to fight him. I've got to know where he is. I've got to have a little bit of a tussle with him. He's fighting and tussling so much that he doesn't get hold of the ball. You know, just play freely, get hold of the ball. And I think we've all been aware of this aspect in Hojlund's game in recent months. Of course, confidence, the team play overall, all play different parts in a striker struggling at Manchester United. When he was going through that really nice patch in January, February, what was that goal where he flicked it one side and smashed it into the corner? Similarly, with his weak foot, he had the ball in space. This is where he operates. This is where he's the best. But Hojlund really has got into a habit of wrestling defenders, of trying to win that battle when that's not his strength. We've all seen the goals early on in the Champions League and at his previous clubs. He's really dangerous running at players. And as if it was like magic, the game straight after Andy Cole says those comments, Hojlund goes and almost exactly listens to him. Now, it was also a game where he was rested, deservedly so. He hasn't been playing great of late, but he comes into the game and for his goal, it's like he went through a step-by-step of what Andy Cole was saying. So if you look from this angle, it shows that Hojlund isn't busting a gut to get straight against the defender, to try and outmuscle him, create a pass in behind. He's actually just almost jogging behind the centre-backs. Bruno's got the ball, he's progressing on the left, and Hojlund's actually picking up space. And you see in this image here that Hojlund notices that he can move into further space, he can get the ball to feet, and he doesn't get into these situations nearly often enough. Bruno plays the pass, it's a brilliant pass from Fernandes, and Hojlund has the ball at his feet and he can run at a defender. Rather than receiving the ball to his feet, a defender against his back, he's got his back to goal, he needs to turn and get a snapshot off. He actually has the time to almost accelerate, get towards the defender, commit him one way, get past, and I mean, the shot, maybe the goalkeeper should have saved it, but certain strikers in certain moments deserve a bit of luck, and that was what Hojlund got. Like Cole says, as a centre-forward in 2024 in the Premier League, you don't need to be a physical monster. You don't need to be dominating centre-backs. It's nice to see that Hojlund's at least trying it, but like we saw in that goal, he's really dangerous when he's got a bit more space on the ball, when he's making maybe runs in behind into space rather than straight towards the centre-backs. He's got a lot of little bits to improve on, but we can all agree that Hojlund's got a really well-rounded skill set as a centre-forward. But when you're so young and you're in a really inconsistent team, you need to get the advantages. You need to play to your strengths. And Hojlund, in that goal, played to his strengths massively. Of course, Hojlund wrestling defenders, trying to improve his physical game will probably do him well in the long term. But if he's going to really explode and start getting towards those numbers where you are going 20 to 30 goals, he definitely needs to learn to get into these situations more often, because this is where he's most dangerous.